Coco Gauff releases emotional statement after huge payday at WTA Finals. Coco Gauff's 2025 season is over after she was eliminated from the WTA Finals in Saudi Arabia. Coco Gauff crashed out of the 2025 WTA Finals in Riyadh after suffering defeat in two of her three round-robin encounters, including a crucial straight-sets loss to Aryna Sabalenka in her final match. Sabalenka eventually secured the runner-up spot behind Elena Rybakina, who claimed the eye-watering £3.9 million winner's check. Gauff pocketed £265,000 for her solitary triumph over Jasmine Paolini. The 2025 French Open champion took to Instagram following her elimination to confirm her tennis season, packed with drama and surprises, had come to an end. "My 2025 season is officially over and it was a long one," she posted, alongside a photograph from Roland Garros. "I played my first match of this season on December 29, 2024, and my last match of the season on November 6, 2025. It was filled with some disappointments but mainly positives, and when I look back at it, I feel proud of all the things I accomplished," she continued. "I love this sport and I am grateful for all of its ups and downs. Very few feelings come close to the euphoria you feel when you are living in a dream come true or a prayer come to fruition, and I am eternally grateful to God for these experiences and the opportunity to feel this feeling constantly. Thank you guys for your love and support. Thank you to my family, my friends, my team, and God. Time for a little rest and then back to the grind. See you guys back on court next year. We up." Gauff, the 2024 champion, had a roller coaster 2025 season. She secured a quarter-final spot in the Australian Open, but also suffered a series of early season first-round defeats. However, she bounced back with a resounding victory over Sabalenka in the French Open final. Despite this, Gauff was knocked out in the first round at Wimbledon and the fourth round at the US Open. The young American also made it to the finals at events in Madrid and Italy, and won the Wuhan tournament. After her defeat in Riyadh, former men's world number 1 Jimmy Connors conceded that Gauff needs to improve her serve ahead of the 2026 Australian Open. The stadium lights in Riyadh, cold, towering, almost too powerful, had barely dimmed when Coco Gauff found herself alone again, this time in the quiet of the locker room, surrounded not by cheers but by echoing stillness. The cheers had been relentless, rising like a wave after her last blistering backhand sealed what would become one of the most lucrative victories of her young career. But money, Coco knew, was never really the heart of the story. Not tonight. Tonight had been about something far older, deeper, and more personal than the numbers that would soon flash across sports headlines around the world. As news broke that she had secured one of the largest paydays in WTA Finals history, journalists waited, cameras ready, reporters jostling for position outside the press room. But Coco wasn't ready, not until she faced the swirl inside her chest. There, between a rack of match dresses and her half-zipped racket bag, she pulled out her phone. And there, she wrote the emotional statement that would soon sweep across social media, quoted by fans, debated by analysts, and dissected by commentators. "It didn't hit me until I sat down just now. This moment is bigger than the prize money. Bigger than the title. Bigger than the numbers. I felt the weight of everyone who believed in me, even when I doubted myself." But to understand why those words mattered, why she nearly cried as she typed them, you had to understand everything that led here. The road that no one saw. A few hours earlier, Coco had stepped onto the court wearing a fierce calm, a look that had become her trademark during the 2025 season. She was 21 now, still impossibly young, yet carrying the gravity of a veteran. The pressure? Constant. The expectations? Suffocating. The scrutiny? Daily. She knew that her hard-court season hadn't always been smooth. Injuries had loomed, tiny doubts had gnawed at her during long nights of practice, and the weight of being not just a star but the American star in tennis had taken a toll. Every tournament brought headlines. Every loss triggered think pieces. Every win came with another layer of demands. But here, under the neon canopy of the WTA Finals, she'd found a clarity she hadn't felt all year. Every forehand had landed clean. Every serve carried intent. Every sprint toward the net felt like a sprint toward something she'd been chasing for months. Peace, validation, and maybe, just maybe, joy. She hadn't realized how tense her shoulders had been until the trophy touched her hands and something inside her finally let go. The payday everyone talked about. But she didn't. Minutes after the trophy ceremony, the world exploded with numbers. Record purse. Career-high payday. Multi-million-dollar victory. Fans circulated screenshots of the prize money. Tennis analysts debated how it compared to past champions. Economists even chimed in about the rising financial power of women's tennis. But Coco, wiping glitter off her face as she unbraided her hair in the mirror, didn't think of dollar signs. She thought of waking up at 5 a.m. to train in Florida's humidity when she was 9. She thought of sitting in a car with her mother after tough junior losses, when she wondered if she'd ever live up to the hype. She thought of the first time she saw Serena Williams, really saw her, and realized what a girl who looked like her could become. She thought of every moment money never touched. This payday might have been historic, but her gratitude came from a different place. The statement that stopped the internet. Sitting cross-legged on the locker room bench, she typed, "I'm grateful for the support, for the belief, for the love. This year showed me that success isn't linear. I had highs I'll never forget and lows I wouldn't wish on anyone. But today reminded me why I fight." Her fingers hovered before she continued. Tonight isn't about the money. It's about growth. It's about faith. It's about trusting the journey even when it feels impossible. Thank you from the deepest part of me. It wasn't polished. It wasn't PR approved. It was raw, it was real, and that's why it resonated. Within minutes, her post surged globally. Players commented. Journalists reshared it. Fans filled the replies with heart emojis, messages of pride, and stories of how her resilience inspired them. And though she didn't cry on the court, a single tear finally slipped down her face in the privacy of the locker room. Flashback, a season of doubt and dominance. The dominant version of Coco Gauff that the world saw in the finals didn't magically appear. The journey had been defined by contradictions. Matches that seemed impossible, but became her biggest wins. Pressure moments that broke her confidence, but built her mental toughness. Criticism that stung, but sharpened her edges. There were times she'd questioned everything. After one particularly painful loss earlier in the season, she had called her dad from a hotel room in Europe. She remembered his words vividly. Pressure means people believe in you. But you have to believe too. She hadn't believed fully then. But tonight? Tonight she felt it in her bones. Back to the press room, an unexpected moment. When she stepped into the press room an hour later, the journalists quieted. Coco smiled politely but with a softness that suggested she had rediscovered something inside herself.